Haven't seen you guys for a couple of days, so got a lot of work in. For the most part, really healthy, so that's been good to be able to see majority of the guys out there pretty much at full speed and kind of start moving pieces around, see how they work together. And we've had a lot of meetings and walkthroughs. Our format has changed over the years, especially a year ago, to where we don't practice as much. We really have a lot more of a NFL model, talking to the NFL people about injury prevention and taking care of players and what they call a ramp up. The first 5 days, which is dramatically different than the way it used to be, or that a lot of people still do. So it's a little frustrating because, for instance, in 5 days, we only practice 3 times. So that's a lot of meeting times and walkthroughs, but I think it'll pay off long term for the players' bodies.
On schedule, ahead of schedule, behind schedule, where do you think the team is right now?
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of heard this. I don't really make schedules, so it's kind of always hard, to answer that because I just really take each day, one day at a time, and what can we improve on that day versus, hey, we're going to be here after 8 practices. But I would say I'm really pleased by a lot of players, and not a ton of mistakes for this early in camp, and that would probably be because of the less practice, so you're not as tired, and all the walkthroughs.
Talk about altering the NFL style and kind of ramping up. How does that alter how you maybe assess certain pieces or depth in terms of where guys are if you kind of alter in the practice mode as well?
Well, I think it doesn't probably tell you quite as much about conditioning because, the old way used to be 2 days every day. But even after that, majority of people are still practicing like every day. And like I said, for 5 days, we only have 3 practices. So, and then the majority of camp, and even when they go back-to-back days in camp, usually it'll be a morning and then not till the night the next day. So, full day and a half off. So I do think you can't kind of tell as much as that, which is okay. That's why it's ramp up. You gradually get up there versus, just if you're going to run distance and you start training for distance, run 20 miles the first day. And this obviously makes a lot more sense. It's just against our wiring as coaches over all the years to do it, especially when you think back that you were doing 2 days every day.
It's still very early, but are you starting to see any separation behind Jackson with Walker and Austin?
I think that they've both done a really good job. A.J. Maddox has done a really good job too, and it's been really competitive in there. I think that all 3 are really smart and really do a good job handling and running the offense, which you'd probably expect more out of Walker, being the veteran of those 3. And but all 3 have done a really good job.
Playing with Deion Smith, now eligible, do you anticipate him being out there in pads within the next couple of days or so, or when do you expect him to be back out there?
I don't know. He's not cleared to be practicing, so. But you just said he's fully cleared, so maybe he is. I mean, normally John just says what people are, and stuff. So, maybe since you said he's clear, I'll go to compliance and tell him we're good.
Are y'all working yet with the helmet? How's that going as far as the operation of it?
Yeah, I think it's very different. I think that just listening, there is a major impact, but it's probably neutralized because both sides have it. I mean, the player with it, which obviously most of the time would be the quarterback or the middle linebacker, I think, for most people. Whatever that player is, I mean, it truly is like a cheat code. You're getting talked to, you're getting reminded of everything, which run, pass, gap, splits, alignments, what to check to. So it is a game changer, but I don't know that you're going to notice as much because I don't know that it's not kind of neutralized.
I'm really ignorant on that process. Do you talk all the way through the play, or does it turn off? Or
yeah. So it goes off at, I believe, 15 seconds, both sides, or obviously when the ball's snapped. But up to that point, which for us is the majority of plays offensively, you can talk the whole time.
Only one person can talk to him?
Yeah, I assume most would say the coordinator can talk to him. Head coach can also come in and talk too, but I don't really see that happening very much because to me you're getting to just too much information. And we've talked to our quarterbacks like, hey, make sure you're giving us feedback. Are we giving you too much that it's overload? So, but it is very different, and I think it makes the ability to play even easier, younger. You know, the quarterbacks, in my opinion, can play younger now because systems in general are faster and not as much verbiage and as the old school ways where quarterbacks had to sit around for a couple of years. I think this goes to even another level because you can tell the guy what to do every time.
Lane, what's your evaluation of what you've seen from your transfer offensive linemen so far?
I think they've done a really good job. I mean, there's a number of them, and that group in general has never looked like this, where you're like, okay, hey, there's competition really at all 5 spots, and we've never had that where it's really competitive competition of guys that probably can all play really well at this level. So it's really good to have, and I think they've done a really good job buying in and competing.
Did you set out to create that, or is that just kind of happened naturally through the year?
Well, we just always look at how do we make the roster better, you know, NFL model like, and sometimes that's, you know, signing guys, and you don't necessarily know for sure who's going to necessarily leave too. You know, you're signing people, and there may be somebody that think maybe coming back and they go in the portal late, or they even go in after spring. So it doesn't quite maybe work exactly that you would think it would.
And do you guys see Jaquan Scott as a center? I know he played a lot of guard at Southern Miss. Where does he kind of fit?
He's played both here and has done a really good job at guard and center. So he's been a really good addition for us. I think he's a really good player.
With so many guys deciding to come back for this kind of last dance, have you noticed any significant differences in maybe those guys' leadership or just the way they've been approaching it from maybe seasons in the past?
Yeah, I think that I really see, I mean, I know we talk about pro mindset here, but I really see more that way of thinking with them, like their focus, you know, is really intense. And, I mean, again, it's only a few days, but we've had an off season too, where we seem to have very, very little problems, you know, where guys aren't, you know, they're late or they're not, you know, into it and we got to get them going, you know, or loafing. Like guys seem really, really into it.
Coaches poll just got released. Y'all are ranked 6th. I know you don't really care, but kind of what does that mean to have that respect from your peers?
No disrespect. I mean, to them, just it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, I talk to our players all the time. You can be way up there, you can be way down. And it's got nothing to do with where you end up. And I've been part of that. Probably one of the biggest ones ever. We started number 1 and finished unranked. So really doesn't mean anything outside of this room. You know, we'll miss people, and in general, like, hey, our program's done some stuff over years to get to this point that this is what other people think, but that does not mean we're going to win this year.
Lane, some programs around the country, I think Ohio State and Alabama have done events where they've opened up practice to fans, kind of to fundraise for NIL more or less. Is that something you could ever see working here?
Maybe. I've not. That really hasn't. We've had different things with fans where, you know, like the spring, and then had autographs with them, an event here afterwards, or the collective did. But we haven't done anything with practice or discussed it.
Coaches, the NFL model, is it less full contact? And if so, is that kind of what you're looking at too? Because I know you did in spring.
Yeah. And we in general here probably are on that side of things in general in college football about not much contact. And we rarely ever put on full pads. And like the spring, we never tackled. So we'll be way over here on that side, I think, you know, towards the NFL model. And I think with so many older players that have played a lot, we're very cognizant of that.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, guys, thanks.